welcome everyone. Welcome to the live. Welcome to the live. I'm super pumped and excited. Up, you're ready for today's live class? Just type ready in the comments. Hi everyone. Welcome Sanel Abigail. Welcome. Apologies. I really had really serious network issues. I had to get that fixed. However, I'm just going to start over because I'm not sure where there was some sort of interruption. So, in today's live, we're going to be talking about how to turn a simple idea into a digital product people will pay for. However, I'm just going to start over. Yeah, and we're going to be talking about from the idea aspect to the niche to validation and to testing. Now, this life is for you if you have never thought, if you've ever thought, okay, I have an idea, right? If I have an idea, but I don't know where to start, or can I really make money selling digital products? And the answer is absolutely yes. And we are going to start today. So, drop in the chat ready if you are pumped up and you are super excited about the life. Drop in the chat ready. Drop in the chat ready and where you are joining from. And if you have ever sold a digital product, no or yes. So it should be ready, then where you're joining from, and if you've ever sold a digital product, yes or no. Now, what I'm going to be sharing with you is not theory, it is what actually works. It's what, has worked for me. I'm going to show you exactly what I do, not really, not the textbook version, but the real version that works. And let me just give you just an overview. So this is like my mail, and you can see sales that I've made from selling digital products. Sales all the way that I have made. So this actually works, and I'm going to show you how I did it. Now, what did I sell? I've sold a variety of things, but mostly selling like ebooks, courses, ebook courses, basically that. And I'm going to explain what digital products are. And in this live, I'm going to explain to you how you can actually, start turn an idea, a simple idea, into something that people actually pay for. And this has actually changed my perspective in terms of some certain level of freedom, because with digital product you every single time or over and over again. Please give me a second. All right. So in this life, apologies. In this life, you're gonna here's what we're gonna be covering today. The first thing is you're gonna learn how to find a profitable idea. So the first thing you need to do if you are going to make a sale of a digital product is you need to find a profitable idea, something that you can actually sell. The next thing I will show you or you will learn how to do is choose the right niche, and then you will learn how to validate demand before creating. And you are going to know how you can test your ideas with real people. And all of these are super important because a lot of people make the mistake that all you need to do is just have a certain idea and turn it into a digital product. And that is the reason why most of people's digital products do not sell. So in this video, in this live stream, I want you to stay closely, listen, and do not miss any part because every single step is super important. Now, from the baseline, from the foundation, what is a digital product? Now, a digital product is simply something that is a product you create once and you sell over and over and over again online. That's why it's called digital, right? With digital products, there is no shipping, there is no inventory, there is no hassle, which means that once you create the product, you have your store, you don't need to ship it to anybody. Your store is sort of like automated. So when they pay, they are able to access the digital product immediately. You do not have an inventory because that one product that you create, you could keep doing it over and over. So and one unique thing about digital product selling is that it has low startup cost, meaning that you can start for free or almost near zero. It literally requires very little to no startup cost. And again, with digital products, you can actually scale it. Like it's easily to scale. So once you are able to sell one, two, three, you can then sell. That means it's possible for you to sell 100. It's possible for you to sell 200. It's possible for you to sell 10,000 without that extra work. When I mean extra work, like the work it takes of inventory shipping like that it comes with physical products. But with digital products, it takes lesser work. That doesn't mean you will not do any work, right? So I'm gonna let's go over to the next one, right? Now, examples of digital products that you can create. Now, a lot of people think that digital product is only about creating ebooks. Ebooks, yeah, ebooks are more like a very simple or easy entry into digital product, but there are several other digital products that you can create, and it completely depends on what kind of solution that you are trying to provide, right? So one of the digital products or some examples of digital products you can create are like ebooks, templates, checklists, planners or journals, online courses, simple trainings and all that. And the good thing about digital products is that you don't need to be an expert. A lot of people think that the reason why maybe they are not in a position to create a digital product is because they do not consider themselves as an expert. No, you just need to be able to solve a problem for another person. You just need to know enough to be able to teach another person. You don't need to be like a professional with some sort of degree or certification in anything. Now, now we're going to go into understanding niches, and this is everything, right? This is everything, and I would like for this particular live to be sort of interactive, so just stay with me, right? If you can hear me, you can see me, and you're following me closely, just comment the word following in the comment section. Comment the word following in the comment section. Also, do like the live while you're at it. Like the live, like the live. All right, let's continue. Now, what is a niche? Now, a niche is a specific group of people with a specific problem you can solve. Now, the unique thing about niches is that the narrower you focus, the easier it is to sell. So, you're not going to be selling to everyone. You want to sell to people, to a specific person with a specific problem. Now, I'm going to like be bringing it really home to you. For example, if you want to create like a digital product, let's say like an ebook, right? You don't just wake up and say, I want to create an ebook on whatever. You need to have a niche. That means you need to have a specific topic that your digital product solution is going to be about, and that is a niche. Now, not just will you say, okay, I'm going to be um, doing a certain niche, you want to really, really narrow your focus because it's easier to sell, right? So first of all, here are some beginner friendly niches. You can have finance and budgeting, health and fitness, productivity and focus, relationships and dating, self improvement. But all of this are broad niches. Do you get it? All of these are broad niches. There are a lot of sub niches into this. And this is another mistake people make. They want to get into digital product selling, they want to sell something, and they just say, okay, my niche is relationship, and they just create an ebook on relationship. What exactly in relationship? There's so many things under relationship. It could be marital relationship, it could be friendships relationship, it could be dating relationship. There are so many, right? Or you want to do productivity. What exactly about productivity are you talking about? Is it productivity as a student? Is it productivity in terms of balancing 9 to 5 with your um side hustle? Is it productivity in terms of managing your household as a mom as well as a working mom? What kind of productivity are you talking about, right? So here's what I want us to do. Here's what I want you to do. We're going to make this super interactive. I want you to drop a niche in the comment section, and we're going to begin to digress, or we're going to break down that niche. So what niche relates best to you? It doesn't have to be a niche amongst all of this, right? But drop in the comment section what niche relates best to you. Like, what kind of niche is it that relates to you? Something that you have, or you are in a position to teach someone else, or you're in a position to you know kind of provide some sort of solution about something to someone else, something that comes easily to you. So just drop in the comment section, and we're going to break down that niche. And if you do not know how to pick your niche, just say, I don't have a niche, and I'm going to show you how. So let's go in the comment section. I'm going to give us like about a minute to do that. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's go. Drop in the comment section. Okay. So I'm just going to proceed regardless. So let's take, for example, you do, first of all, before we go into breaking down niches, let's take, for example, you don't know your niche. You're not sure of what exactly would I go for. Like, okay, we have health and fitness. That's good. So first of all, let me address in case you do not have a niche. Now, if everybody does have a niche, And even if you do not have like some sort of social media platform where you're posting about a particular topic, there is always something that, that kind of comes easily to you. Let's take, for example, you are a you're a nursing mother, and you have this, passion for nurturing kids, so to say. That is a niche. You could actually create products with regards to problem within that niche. Or let's take, for example, you are a single father taking care of kids, taking care of your kids. You could create a digital product based on problems within that niche. There are other single fathers that would like to, get to know what you are doing and how, what thing you are doing right, and something that can help them, of course, based on their problem. Or it could be that you are, let's take, for example, you are, what other thing can I use? Let's say you are a fitness freak. That is a niche, right? Let's take, for example, you are someone who loves to create homemade meals. You know how to cook, you enjoy cooking, as in you enjoy creating homemade meals, and you are as well someone who still runs a business. So you can actually create a digital product based on that. That is a niche. There are a lot of people looking for how they can balance, you know, the whatever duties they need to do at home as well as running a business. You could create a digital product on how you do that, but of course, based on the problem, right? So now we have health and fitness by Abigail. Now let us break that down. There is health and there is fitness. First of all, health and fitness is like a combined niche together, but when you separate them, they are still way broad on their own. For example, when you talk about health access, what exactly under health are you would you like to really touch on? Would it be about eating, like food, in terms of nutritional value, eating healthy, right? Or would it be about eating food with less, calories, in case you want to burn weight by, um what do they call it, keto dieting or whatever, right? It could be about that, or it could be about trying to, basic health stuff, but you need it's kind of a really broad niche. You need to really double down into, okay, what part of health? There are a lot of things about health. There is the gut health, there is the mental health, there is the biological health, there's the spiritual health, there is the psychological health. So everything has its different niches under health. Now let's talk about fitness. It could be you could be doing fitness, but fitness is a really broad niche. For example, under fitness, we have the aspect of weight loss, right? Under fitness, we have the aspect of, trying to body build, right? You're trying to put on some muscles. Under fitness, we have the aspect of just belly fat loss. There are people who are okay with their weight, they just want to lose some belly fat, right? Under fitness, you could have, like simple exercises just to keep the blood flowing, not like they're trying to lose weight, but just in terms of daily exercises, just so that, to improve the overall system. Under fitness, there is yoga. There are so many things under fitness, right? In So you need to really double down. Like I said, like they usually say, the riches is in the niches. So the smaller your niche is, like the more narrower your niche is, the easier it is to find buyers, right? And I'm going to tell you a mistake I did much later, just so that you don't repeat that same mistake in the early stage, of course, when I started digital product selling, right? And I'm going to share that with you. But first of all, how do you find a simple profitable idea? So now you have kind of decided the niche. Let's take, for example, under fitness, let's say we want to talk about um, daily exercise routines, daily exercise routines for um, pregnant women, like daily exercise. Of course, for pregnant women, the kind of exercise you are going to they're going to be training them on, or they need, it's not the typical fitness kind of bodybuilding or trying to lose belly fat, but simple exercises just so that they keep their body all, moving. For example, I'm not a fitness coach, but I'm giving you an instance now. How do you find a simple, profitable idea based off that niche? Now, the first thing is you can do that based on problems you've already solved. One, and that is one thing I first of all said, if you were following from the beginning, I said you pick a niche from a position where you have, where you are in a position to actually try to, or you are in a position to provide some sort of solution to someone else. You don't go picking a niche that you don't know jack about. It doesn't make any sense. It's like someone, a teenager or someone in his teen years, trying to sell a digital product on how to have a good married life, or a happy married life. He doesn't know jack about what he's talking about. So you cannot sell a digital product based off ignorance. Okay, and even though you can actually ask AI to help you, you need to be from a position of sort of like experience or some sort of knowledge. You don't have to be an expert, but it has to be something that you have already solved. It makes it easier to actually relate to your audience, because if you're just creating AI digital product, you just put in a digital product into AI, like you just type in something and you start selling. If people wanted AI digital product, they'll simply go to ChatGPT. They will not come to you, but they came to you because they see you as someone who has possibly already solved that problem. Another place your ideas can come from is based off skills you already have. For example, if, like we talked about, daily exercises for pregnant women, if I have never gotten pregnant before, for example, if I haven't carried a baby before, I don't know jack about what exercises pregnant women should do, because I don't know what they feel. I don't know how they feel. I don't know the kind of exercises that would help them be better in terms of their overall health. I cannot relate with that. So it has to be skills you already have. But if I am a fitness coach and I have, of course, like sort of trained people, like trained pregnant women, or I have studied about it, that is now my sort of field or my sort of expertise. I have that skill. So, yes, I can create an idea on that, right? Thirdly, you can create idea based on questions people keep asking you. For example, people could ask you, it could be in your social media platforms, it could be based on friends that have asked you, or family that have asked you. It is an indication that people actually need that. So let's take, for example, you are someone who loves to try new cooking meals, and you enjoy cooking and you like to try out new recipes, and people always ask you, like, okay, what is the recipe for? I like the way you prepared this particular meal. How did you prepare it this way? What's the recipe? I mean, family has asked you, friends have asked you, everybody who eats your food has asked you. That is an indication that, that's like an idea, right? I'm going to try to bring it home, and I don't know if everyone may relate to it. I don't know if there's this animation cartoon, Kung Fu Panda, right, where the chicken actually sells noodles. So he has a noodle shop. That's the father of the panda, and his noodles was so good that people kept asking him, What is the secret ingredient? Right? People wanted to know because it was that good. So that's an example that people, or an example of a profitable idea. What people keep asking you about. Okay, how did you do this? How did you set up your workspace like this? How did you arrange your Notion dashboard like this? How do you manage your time such that you are able to run a full blown business as well as still be productive in your 9 to 5? How are you able to build your side hustle as a solo entrepreneur? All of these are profitable ideas. Or it could be also things that you recently learned. For example, if I just recently learned how to bake a cake, I mean, I have learned it. So, of course, in my learning process, I have practice. So I know how to do it now. So I have the knowledge and I can possibly teach. Why? Because I have learned it. Something you learn has now become a knowledge of yours, right? So all of these four places are where your ideas can come from. And like I said, you don't have to be an expert in any of this. You don't have to be like some sort of um professional in quotes, or like a big influencer with some sort of like huge social media following. Again, you want to shift your thinking to what can I create, to what problem can I solve. This is super important because when I see a lot of comments, people saying, okay, I created a digital product, how can I sell it, how can I sell it, people are not buying, how do I sell it? And as much as I keep like screaming this, it seems like people keep repeating the same mistake. You need to understand that people are not buying digital products in quotes. They are not really buying your ebooks because they like ebooks. They are buying a solution. So if your digital product is not offering them a solution, they would not buy. They would not care for it. Nobody wants to buy something that they have no need for, that they have no, or that doesn't provide them any sort of value. It's a waste of money. So you want to shift your thinking from today, what can I create that will give me money, to what problem is already existent that I can solve. When you shift your mindset into this particular way, it's going to be super easier. Now let's go into the next slide. Now, here as like some real world examples. We're also going to make this super really interactive. I want you to drop a a problem you think people have in your niche. For example, if you're in health and fitness, what problem do you think people have in your niche? And I'm going to give you an example of a digital product idea that could possibly come out of it. So let's go. Drop a possible problem in your niche, and I'm going to give you a digital product idea that people would, that could possibly, go for this that particular niche. Let's go in the comment section. I'm going to give us a minute to do that. Let's go. Drop in the comment section. Please like the live while you're here. Okay, I'm waiting. It could be anything. I'm not saying that that's the digital product you have to create. It could be anything at all. Thank you for liking the live. It could be anything at all. What possible problem, right? We have some here. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I'm trying to bring it home so it's more relatable to you. Let's do it. Drop in the comments. What problem or possible problem do you think people would have in your niche, right? And I am going to give you a digital product idea on it. Okay, so while you guys are maybe racking your brain to get that in the comments, you just post it, still post it, and I'm going to go into that. But now let us look at the real world examples. Let's take, for example, people are struggling to save money, or you have people who want to save money, but they struggle. Probably they struggle with, how to be really dedicated to whip out some cash and say, I want to save this. Or they have like a spending problem. It always seems like there's one thing or the other coming up and they are unable to save. A digital product idea could be budget planner. Another one, okay, failing, we have one here, failing maintaining their weight. Okay, we have, if you have people who fail to maintain their weight, if I get you correctly, I would, you mean, I imagine, or I want to believe that you mean that people have a certain weight, but they can't maintain it. It keeps fluctuating. They get bigger and they have to start working their way back. It's like a struggle, right? One real example that you could create is an ebook on how they can maintain their weight, like how to, you know, stay on their weight. Like I think I did a digital product in one of my videos when I said, okay, it's a bit different though, but you could create an ebook on how people can stay in their fixed desired weight. So when you have such a digital product problem, sorry, when you have such a problem of people saying, okay, I have a certain weight I want to maintain. Maybe I want to maintain 75 kg. But I was at 75 kg last month and today I'm 84. I'm not happy. I want to be at 75. And I'm trying so hard, and it's just so hard because I then have to, starve myself a lot, and then people say, oh, the person says, oh, I have to starve myself a lot. I'm doing intermittent fasting. I have to put away all my favorite foods, and I have to all go vegetables and all of that. It seems like a struggle for the person. So your digital products could be around how they can maintain their desired weight by still eating their favorite food. I mean, anybody who sees that, who has such problem, will be interested in what you have to say. But of course, you have to be coming from a standpoint of either knowledge or experience, right? Now, Mariel DK, welcome. Meal planner. Well, meal planner sounds more like a digital product than a problem. So I'm asking for a problem. Meal planner could be for anybody who wants to, you know how best to eat, better ways to eat. There are people who don't just know how to eat right, whether to maintain their weight or to just maintain you know, a healthy body system. So you could have meal planners for that, right? That's already a digital product for a problem rather. Now, another one is someone is saying, I cannot stay consistent. I mean, I want to do something. Maybe the person says, okay, I want to like meditate for at least 15 minutes every day, and I really want to do that, but I'm not staying consistent. I'm fond of pressing my phone when I wake up. I'm fond of this, that. I can't stay consistent. A digital product idea would be habit tracker. Okay, infidelity. Now, I would assume that this infidelity is in respect to marriage, right? So if you there's a problem of infidelity, of course the problem needs to be something that they want to solve, right? So if someone struggles with infidelity in his marriage, maybe he's fond of, you know, being promiscuous, so to say, and he really wants to get himself under control, you could create a digital product, most likely an ebook, on how they can stop that. But of course, you have to position it in such a way that it appeals to them, right? For example, maybe the person's cause of infidelity is because he, I don't really want to go deep into it because it's beginning to okay. So maybe the cause of the infidelity could be okay, um my wife just, gave birth, and you know for example, I'm not really like judging. Oh, his wife just gave birth, and then he wants to, for that reason or for some reason at all, he becomes, promiscuous, and there's some sort of infidelity, and he wants to stop, right? You could create an ebook on how to maybe love your wife again, and that would help to control that. But the whole essence is you need to tackle it from the exact problem, right? The exact problem, the problem, infidelity is like a general word, but that's not a problem to a certain person, right? It needs to be, why is the person, why does the person have that infidelity? When you understand why, that is the problem, right? That is the problem, and that's where you want to create your solution from. Now, for example, somebody says, I'm overwhelmed with tasks. That is the problem to someone. The person thinks, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing so many things at the same time, but I want to get everything done at the same time, and it's just so much, it's so overwhelming, right? Then you can create like a daily planner. So you want to go with simple because simple sells, because simple solves. And you want to go with something that is much more, um when I mean simple, in terms of something straightforward, not something too broad to say unproductive. Do you understand? Like, for example, this infidelity falls under the word unproductive. Unproductive is like a general word. Why are you unproductive? For example, it could still be because you can't stay consistent. It could still be because you are overwhelmed with tasks. So, why are you that particular general word? That is the problem in itself, right? So, let's go again to the next one. Now, when you have your digital product idea, the next thing is not to create a digital product, and that is the mistake 80% of people make. Okay, let me not say 80%, but a lot of people whose digital products end up failing or don't sell is because they have a digital idea or digital product idea, and they run ahead to start pushing it out to people. You think, right? We just try to come up with digital product idea, but you are not sure if that is what people want. You are not certain that that is what people are actually looking for. So the next thing you need to do is you need to validate your idea. Now, what does validation mean? Like, it simply means, okay, I have this digital product idea. Is it something that people actually want? Is it something that people think will be a solution to their problem? Right? Is the problem even real at all, or is it just something I made up in my mind? For example, right? Now, you want to ask yourself two things. Are people searching for this? Which is super important. We're going to go into that in a moment. Are people searching for this? Are people like literally online, like, how can I be consistent? How can I lose belly fat? I want to have a flat tummy. I have done everything. I have starved for 3 days, but I cannot have a flat tummy. Are people searching for it? Because when you have a problem, let's take you for example. you have like a sort of, let's say, a problem or a challenge in this age and time in the digital world. The next thing is you've picked up your phone and you're either asking ChatGPT or you're on Google searching for it. And that is to show you that that problem was that important, like it was that rooted that you needed a solution enough to search for it. So are people searching for this problem that you are trying to create, or that you have this digital product idea for? The second thing is, are others selling something similar? Because those are the two ways that you are going to be able to know if that is actually an idea that you should go with. Because if people are already selling something similar, it means that yes, people are actually looking for a solution to that problem, because nobody is going to continually sell something that doesn't work or they're not making a gain out of. So when you look at these two things, then you can then proceed into the next step. But let's take a little bit more detail into validating idea. Now, for how do you validate your idea? Now, this is very, very important. A lot of people think, okay, validating my ideas by asking like two, three people. I mean, you are doing like a survey with an idea of selling to tens of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands, and you're asking two to three people. That's crazy. Like, it's not going to work. You need to really, really get into it. Now, where do you look? Now, one of the things that have worked for me, or things that have worked for me in terms of how to validate your ideas, first of all, you look at SEO driven areas or SEO driven social media platform. You have like Pinterest and YouTube. Then you also want to check like question and answer platforms in terms of Reddit and Quora. You also want to check like groups where you have such people or your target audience in terms of like Facebook groups. You also want to check like X. You also want to check maybe Amazon KDP. For me, Amazon KDP will actually be really, really super for me, I will not really focus on Amazon KDP, but you can if you are selling on Amazon KDP. So you want to look at what people are searching for on Amazon KDP. But if you plan to sell your digital product on maybe your store, yeah, you can look at Amazon KDP, but Pinterest, YouTube, Reddit, Quora, Facebook, X will literally do the trick for you. And I'm going to explain how to do that in a second. Now, here's what you should look for. Let's take, for example, we're looking at YouTube, right? We're going to go into some little bit of practical mode right now. The first thing you want to look for is views. Now, let's take, for example, I see failing to maintain their weight under weight loss, right? Let's go to YouTube and have a look. So let's take, for example, I want to search something about how do I maintain my weight. Now I'm going to scroll down. The best way to maintain weight loss forever. Now, one thing you want to look at is the really help to indicate interest. I mean, if 78 or 74,000 people have viewed just this video, I mean, that is an indication that there are way lot of people who are looking to maintain their weight loss. If I should scroll down again, you can see maintaining weight loss, 5 tips. This is 2K views. Of course, you want to check the person's subscribers, because they are small YouTubers who they may not have so much views, but you want to check those with high views. You can see the maintenance phase, fat dieting. I mean, that is an indication that a lot of people are really interested in this. Now, let's go here. The next thing you want to check is the comments. Now, first of all, you've seen the views, so there's some sort of interest. Of course, you don't just want to check YouTube, right? YouTube is just one aspect, right? It's just one aspect. The next thing is you want to check the comments. Inside the comments, you are going to see people expressing their pain points. It could be people saying, yes, but how exactly, like, what kind of food do I eat? You you want to get the exact pain point that people have with regards that particular pain point. If you're getting a hang of what I'm saying, or like you're really following closely, just comment the word following in the comment section. I want to know that I'm not really overwhelming you with what I'm trying to share. Just comment the word following in the comment section. So for the comments, you want to be sure that pain points are real. And what you want to do is you want to go to YouTube, and all of these videos with like high views, you want to go ahead and check their comments. What are people saying? Let's take, for example, this one. We're going to open it right now. Let's see what people are saying. If you're a healer. Okay. Now, if you look closely, this is where you are going to see people's pain points, like people's specific pain points with regards to that niche. So, in as much as you are saying, okay, um, a problem is maintaining weight, right? There are specific pain points with regards to that niche. So there's a sub niche inside that sub niche, right? So look at this person saying, it's crazy how no one is talking about maintenance diet on the internet or anywhere. I know so many people who did diet on their own for so long and ended up gaining weight back. It is so important to inform people about this phase. So that is a pain point. I mean, the pain point is literally maintenance of weight loss with diet, like maintenance of diet during, maintenance of weight loss. That is literally a pain point under that niche or under that sub niche. Let's look again. You're gonna see a lot of thank yous, thank yous, thank yous. So you're gonna skip that because you're still looking for a certain gap that needs to be filled, pain points, right? So let's keep scrolling. You can see here, I paid for a weight loss coach to help me lose fat and get into 140 pounds. She has me eating at maintenance for 2 months now. And I'm angry because I still have body fat and weight to lose. So now I'm scrolling the internet to find a reason why it's so important for me to be eating at maintenance when I want to be in a cut. This is also about dieting. You can see you need to be able to perceive what their pain point is about. So this is what you want to do. You want to still go all down and look for all of those pain points from people. You want to skip all the, oh, thank you for the video, oh, I wish I saw this sooner. That's not what you are here for, right? You are here for those people who are voicing out their concerns, because those are the people that you actually want to be selling your digital product to, not those who have already found answers to them on YouTube. I mean, right? So you want to scroll down and look at that. Now, like I said, YouTube is just one aspect of it. First of all, you don't just pick just one video, pick the top videos. You look at it, like you double down, look at it. One thing I usually do, it may feel old school, but it actually works, is that I take a Google Sheet document or an Excel sheet. Let me just open one and I show you what I do. So when you open the Excel sheet, this has really helped me save a lot of time in like creating products that end up not selling, or it has also saved me a lot of time in terms of um weighing which one has more pain points or not. So I have the data with me, because I'm someone who I prefer to work with data. I don't like to mentally assume. So I'm going to put like serial number here. This is just something I do that you can incorporate before you do your digital product. This is your research phase. If you skip this research phase, which includes like your validation phase, if your digital product flops, it's all on you. Now we have serial number, and I'm going to write pain points here, and I'm going to write number. Now I'm going to explain what these are and how you can use them when you want to, try to do your own validation phase. So this serial number is of course 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I do is I try to pick like a certain um what's the word now? What's the word? Like a certain sample size. That's the word. Because you want to sell to thousands of people, to as much people as you want. And you kind of need a sample size to be able to determine that this particular pain point I'm creating a digital product on is a pain point that is prevalent over a certain number of people. You don't just want to do check 2, 3, 4, 5 times and okay, I'm doing this digital product. No, I mean, those could be coincidences, and you create the digital product and nobody buys. So you have like a sample size. The larger your sample size, the better. Because when you pick a broader sample size, you are able to really, touch each area of the internet and know that, okay, a lot of people have this pain point. So most times I start with a sample size of a, it may seem much, but I bet you if you do this, it would save you a lot of time, and your digital product is most likely, or it has a larger like it's has a likelihood of actually converting. Of course, when I mean high likelihood, you also have to market it. So if you don't market it, right? So serial number up to like 100 at least. Now here's where you're going to put the pain points. So when you go on, let's say YouTube, and someone says nobody is talking about dieting, where's that particular pain point we saw? Hmm. There's a pain point we saw where someone says nobody is talking about dieting. I want to go find that pain point. Okay, it's crazy how no one is talking about maintenance diet on the internet or anywhere. Now, it's not that you're going to just copy this whole write up and post it there. You have to be able to decipher, okay, what exactly is he talking about? In this instance, he's talking about maintenance diet. At this point, of course, you have decided like your niche. When I mean your niche, like your sub niche. For example, at this point, we're talking about um maintaining their weight maintenance after weight loss, right? So here would be maintenance diet, and the number of times we have this is one. Like the number of pain points we have seen for this is one. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to scroll down and keep researching. So let's take, for example, let's go to another platform. Let's look at Pinterest is more of a visual platform actually. So if you're even going to be searching Pinterest, it's more of like the keyword aspect. So instead of Pinterest, we can go to something like Reddit or Quora. Let's go into Reddit. And I'll say maintain weight loss, and I'm going to click enter. You could also search for communities and just kind of look at what they're talking about. It's just that when you go to communities like general communities like weight loss in Reddit groups, there are just a lot of topics, and you're going to have to scroll all the way down before you start seeing questions with regards your sub niche. But when you search it, it's just easier to streamline it down. Now, when you search it, the next thing you want to do is you want to filter instead of going to all time, because when you go to all time, it's going to even give you um pain points as far back as 7 years ago. I mean, you don't want to be solving pain points that people have moved past. You want to solve pain points in real time. So you're going to go to past year at most, and you can see questions. Those who lost weight are now on maintaining their weight. What are your techniques to maintain other than sticking with maintenance calories? Can you see this is a pain point? I mean, somebody is asking it. Now we can go here and jot that down. So we say maintenance. Oh, we can say weight loss maintenance technique other than calorie maintenance. I mean, you want to put the pain points in the way people say it. The exact way people say it, that's how you want to put it, because that's what's going to determine how you're going to craft your ebook to really resonate with people. Okay, now for this one, the number is one as well. We're going to scroll down again. How does one maintain weight? You can see this. One thing you can also do, right, is to go to the comments. In the comments you also see more pinpoints, but I'm just trying to give you an overview. Now, how does one maintain weight? This person says, I plan on eating my calorie weight loss level for 2 days per week in order to offset any mistake. How does one maintain weight? That's like literally what this person is talking about. So, how to maintain weight, and the number is one. You can see that I did not mix it with this one because this person's pain point is different. It says maintenance technique other than calorie maintenance. So it's not the same thing. You don't want to mix them up. Believe me, when you do this, you'll be amazed at how easy it is to just pick off your pain points just easily. Like how to pick off the prevalent problem easily. So when you scroll down again, you can see maintain weight but still losing. Maintaining your weight 90%, keeping the healthy habits that got you. Of course, you want to check that it's a question and not somebody trying to post something. The problem I'm having is that I've been on the maintain weight setting for an entire time and has still lost a lot of this weight, right? I'm wondering even if anyone else has this happen to them and how I can actually maintain weight instead of continuously losing it. Okay, so let's say maintain weight without losing it. You want to make sure you are getting the pinpoint correctly. Then we want to click on one. Again, you could go back. Let's go back and have a look. You can say, you can see this one. Let's open it and have a look. This is what you want to do. It seems like the boring part, but it's like the most important part. Super important. You can see this person says, I've successfully lost weight several times, but I've never been successful at maintenance. I've never really tried though. Please give me your tips for maintenance. This person is looking for maintenance tips so I can try for success. It would be lovely not to have to lose 20 to 30 pounds because I once again let myself go. I'm not an intuitive eater, so I know I have to track maintaining calories. But what are some signs you might have noticed that signal you're going back to bad habits? What tips do you offer to counteract that? So you can see, first of all, the person says maintenance tips. So that's one. You want to write that down. Weight loss maintenance tips. And this is one. Again, the person also says some signs that signal you're going back to bad habits, and what tips do you offer to counteract that? So maintenance tip to manage bad habits, weight loss maintenance tips to manage bad habits. So let's also put that here, because one person could have like more than one pain point, doesn't invalidate any of his pain points. So this is how you want to keep doing. I'm not going to go ahead to try to do every single thing, but I just said let me give you an idea on how this works. Now, you want to do this not just for Reddit. You want to go to Quora and search, filter by at most past year, right? Past year up till way into the present. You want to check Facebook groups by searching, filter by Facebook groups. You want to search X. What are people saying in terms of weight loss maintenance, right? So you want to go do that. So if that is your niche, I guess this would be like a little bit of, you know, a bit of project for you. If you want to create a digital product on that, you go back, get a spreadsheet and go do like your research. Have your sample size. If you're going to 100, that means you want to find 100 pain points. If you are going to 150, you want to find 150 pain points. If you are going to 200, you want to find 200 pain points. Now let's hit it next. So you want to check for questions. That's where the demand is. And product selling, market is proven. So you could sell. This is in terms of product selling. This is where you can actually check for KDP by searching weight loss maintenance, and you want to see how well that is selling, because that's an indication that, of course, people are actually buying it. But just because it's not on Amazon KDP selling does not mean that you say, oh, people are not buying it. And just because it's just selling on Amazon KDP doesn't mean that, oh, I should create an exact replica of digital products. You need to validate it in other areas. For example, the digital product that I sold, I searched for it on KDP, and of course, there's nobody really putting out a digital product like that. Of course, it's the overall broader niche. There are few products, not even really so much sales. So not everybody buys at Amazon KDP, right? But literally everybody is going online to research their problems, right? So you need to know that. Now, how do you test your idea? Now you validated your idea. Now, let me show you how you can pick your idea. Now, once you validate your idea up to 100, there are some that while you are putting the pain point, you will notice there are some that are replicated. Like there will be some that will be so prevalent. Like a lot of people are literally asking about it. It could be maintenance diet. So you see another pain point, somebody is saying, I need maintenance diet. Instead of one, you're gonna then put two. If you see another person saying, okay, can you guys give me some maintenance diet I can use, maintain weight loss maintenance diet. I should have put weight loss here so it's more specific. Weight loss maintenance diet I can use, you want to put three here. When somebody says, I struggle with the dieting for my weight loss maintenance phase, can somebody put me through? Four. This is an example. So while you are putting this, when this goes reaches your sample size, maybe 100, you then want to look at the numbers. You will definitely see one that is most prevalent, like one that really sticks out. And when you see that one, that is your digital product idea. That is the one that you have validated to be that this is it. Like this is what I should create a digital product on. Now, when you have your digital product idea, before you go ahead to now create it, you need to test it because you need to be double sure. You need to be double sure that when I create a solution on this, people would actually get, like, people would actually bring up their money to pay. Because your digital product should not just solve a problem, but it should solve a problem that is so deep that people are willing to exchange the solution for cash. There are some problems that people would ask online, but they are not necessarily willing to pay for an answer. For example, what example can I use? Let's take for example, if a lot of people are asking, okay, what is the right way to brush your teeth? Is it circular motion, or is it up and down, or is it this way, or is it whatever? A lot of people could be asking that, but it doesn't mean that when you create a digital product on how to brush your teeth properly, people would now pay $15 to get that. They may not. So you need to test your idea that people, it's a pain point that is so deep that people were going to pay for. Now, the first thing is you want to post content. Now, I know a lot of people will say, oh, I don't have like a social media platform and all of that. Now, here's what I did, because when I sold most of my digital products, I didn't have a social media platform like with thousands of followings. You don't need thousands of followers. All you need is people that will resonate with your idea. So what I did was, if you are trying to create content, you want to choose one. Either you want to do face content or faceless. I chose faceless and I leveraged X to validate, to like test my idea. So what I did was I created an X page. Of course, when you create an X page, zero follower. In fact, it's not even so easy to grow on X. So you could be on X and you may not still have like a hundreds of followers. But here's what I did. What I did was I posted about my digital product idea. I didn't just post it like on my wall, because of course I may not have so much engagement. I posted it in communities, like communities under that. For example, if you go on X, you're gonna see like maybe weight loss communities and all of that. Then you post something like that there. Maybe for example, um like I said, it has to be something that you can, your digital product idea has to be something that you have some experience in, or something that you have knowledge in. So the first thing I did was I gave a value. like value content. For example, you can say, um, here's how I maintained my weight loss after losing weight. And I did a little bit of content and I said, if you're struggling with weight loss, if you're struggling with weight loss, I would like to create a simple guide that helped me, that helped me like really maintain my weight loss phase and would help you. Comment the word guide if you're interested in me creating it. And you're going to sit back and watch people comment. So people will start commenting, okay, guide, 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 guide. That's an indication, okay, people are interested. Another thing I did was I did story content, of course, based on something that related with me. For example, you could say something like, okay, I struggled with, or rather, let's start with this. I was at 160 pounds for more than 2 years, and I struggled with. Okay, let me rephrase. I was at 160 pounds for about 2 years. I lost weight to 120 pounds, but I struggled staying there. I did everything, and in about 2 months, I was back to 155 pounds. Not until I tried this particular weight loss dieting. It was super simple, not something difficult, and I was still able to eat my favorite meals. Have you ever struggled with weight loss maintenance before, or is it just me? Now, that is a content that would get people to engage. And now you want to see people's response. Now you may see people saying, I'm currently struggling with that. It's crazy. Or someone says, yes, I struggle with that. That's the hardest part of weight loss. And you see somebody saying, yes, I really, really wish that people did a lot of information on weight loss maintenance. You're going to see a lot of people talking about that. For example, right? That's an indication to know if your idea is something rooted enough for people that they want to pay or they wouldn't. If nobody says jack, if people don't even care for it, it's an indication that you should stop and retract and see what other pain points that you're missing. It could be that that is not an actual prevalent pain point that people want to pay for. So that way you save yourself time instead of building a product, spending money in promoting and nobody buys, right? Another thing I did was I searched on X to people who actually had pain, mental, like people who mentioned that maybe somebody comments or post something on his wall to say, I have really lost 50 pounds over the past 3 weeks, but staying at that same weight that I've lost is so difficult. I I walk every day, I gym every day, I even count my calories, but yet I still fluctuate weight. Right now, I have gained back 20 pounds. I'm just frustrated. Let's say that's the person's content, the person's post. I would then go comment under it and say, something valuable, not to say, oh, I have a product for you. No, I'm still testing. So I'm going to go on that and say something like, oh, I actually struggle with the same thing too. And honestly, I can relate with you. I lost weight and I also struggle to maintain it. This is like the hardest part of weight loss. But there's something that actually helps me in the long run. And one of the things is, of course, you want to give value, a little bit of value. Maybe one of the things is diet maintenance, and it's not just about counting calories. I'm actually compiling a guide about it. If you're interested, just let me know, and you're going to see the response. You want to do that on multiple people's walls. There's nobody who doesn't want a solution to his problem. And when you have all of that people trying to, you have all of that people saying, oh, yes, I'm interested. I would like to see the guide and all of that. You then start creating. Only then do you start creating digital product. You don't create it before validation. You don't create it after validation. You don't create it during your test phase. You only create it while you have tested and people say that yes, they resonate with it. Yes, they're engaging. Yes, they want, like, they really want this knowledge, right? Then you start creating it. So attention is proof of the demand. If people engage, there's a market. Now, the next thing you want to also do is you want to ask directly. So another thing I did when I was trying to validate my own product, it was that after I've created some sort of level of sensation, the next thing I did was saying something like, I'm actually creating this guide, but I'm gonna be pricing it at, sorry, I'm actually creating this guide, and for the next 24 hours is gonna be just $1. I'm actually going to, the guide is actually $5 or something of that sort. It's completely up to you. But the guide is just $1, just a commitment to show that you actually need this, you know, just something like that, just to make people know that $1 is something anybody can spare. And if you had done your content projection well enough, people will give you that dollar. Now the dollar is not because that's the price of your digital product. The dollar is to further test that people are willing to whip up their cash to give you. I'm telling you the truth that if people do not find value in something, they would not even give you 50 cents. But because they find value in it, they are going to whip up that dollar and give you. So now you can ask, would you buy this? But I wouldn't necessarily ask that. Or I for me, if you are a beginner, if you have like some sort of audience, you could ask, would you buy this? But if you're a beginner, you don't want to position it as would you buy this, because then people will see it as, oh, she just wants to make money, right? So you position it as, I have a guy that will help you. He helped me, he will help you too. But for the first 24 hours, I'm going to be giving the guide at just $1. Honestly, because I've noticed, for example, honestly, because I noticed that people who actually pay for something are actually those who are interested. And I don't want to share it to people who are not interested, right? And when you have people or when you launch that product and you see people saying, or when you post that value, that post, and you see people saying, all right, when is it coming out, when is it launching, we're ready, drop the link and all of that, that is an idea that people want that product. And that is then and only then do you start creating your digital product. And when you start creating your digital product, remember, you have a time limit, because the time frame from which you have warmed your audience, you don't want to extend it all the way and now keep them for months waiting. So let me tell you how I did mine. I did it, and after I had been able to completely test them, I was able to launch my digital product in 1 weekend. So I had just 1 weekend because I told them, okay, Monday by so time, I'm going to drop the link, or I'm going to put the link in my bio, right? So I had just the weekend to create. And believe you me, when you have a time frame, you will be amazed at how fast you're going to be able to, of course, whip out your digital product. Of course, it depends on digital products, right? Mine was an ebook, so it's really shorter. That, you can create that in a weekend. But if yours is more like a course, that may take a little more time, but you need to move swiftly, because when you waste a lot of time after warming people or before you release the product, it wears people out. People become bored and they move over to the next best person. They move over to the next person who tells them they have a solution, right? Now here are some common mistakes to make. The first thing is overthinking the idea. A lot of people overthink, they get stuck in the idea phase. Why? Because they don't know that they should validate the idea to be sure that the idea is good or bad. They don't know they should test the idea to be sure if they should proceed or not. So they just overthink the idea. Should I do this? Should I not? Should I do this? Should I not? And they stay in that idea phase for weeks without actually doing anything. The next thing is they chase perfection. In honesty, the digital product I pushed out that first time was not the final version. That was like the launch version, because with your digital products you may always want to improve, because of course you get people's feedback. People may say, oh, thank you for the digital product, but I wish it talked more on this. I wish it had this. I wish it could have had this. And that's how you keep updating it, just to fit in all of those feedbacks. So a good idea launched beats a perfect idea that never starts. The third thing is you are creating before validating. I've talked on that. People rush create digital product and they start forcing people to buy. I created a meal planner for you. Buy the meal planner. Get the meal planner. It's just $3, just $1. Nobody will buy if they don't want it. Right? Always check demand first. Don't build a product nobody wants. The fourth one is choosing ideas with no demand. I mean, if people are not talking about it, they would not buy it. Like, a lot of people just choose ideas because it sounds fancy, like, okay, how to lose weight. I mean, everybody wants to, if nobody is talking about it, they would not buy it, right? So you need to validate, super important. Now, another thing is trying to sell everyone to everyone. You remember I said I was going to share with you a mistake I made when I was creating my first digital product. I'm going to give you a little story. The broader your audience, the harder the sale. And that's a mistake people make. People think it's the opposite, that okay, when you have a broader audience, I mean, when you mean audience, I mean target audience, that means a lot of people would actually buy. But that's actually the exact opposite. So when I started my first, or when I created my first digital product, mind you, your first digital product will not be perfect, right? It will not be like all fancy and the best, but you must get started anyway. But this is why I'm telling you the mistakes I did, so you do not. So you skip the mistakes and you go straight into the face. You don't have to create a fancy Canva or designed ebook to sell. People do not like, the value of your ebook is not in all the designs, it's in the content. You can literally create a PDF file with Google Docs and sell it thousands of times, and people will buy because they see value. Now, one mistake I made when I started was that I created a digital product and I sold to a broad audience. Like, it was so broad. So the title of my digital product was How to Make Money Online. Funny, right? But do you know, the fact was that it had value in it? Like, I poured in my all in that digital product because it was based on what I could relate with. Like, that was, I poured into it. But what gave it off, like what struck it out, was the title, like How to Make Money Online. Like, ish. I mean, there are so many ways on how to make money online. So my thought was that, okay, if I broaden the topic, like how to make money online, I'm going to appeal to so many people, because so many people want to make money online. That means so many people will be willing to pay for my product. Guess what? In the entire, in the entire lifetime of that product, I only had two sales. In fact, I was lucky I had two sales because it was such a broad product. And I mean, come on, how to make money online, so generic. But if, for example, you narrow your audience down to be very, very specific, just like we talked about weight maintenance, like maybe you are saying something about how to maintain your weight. Let me look at one of the pain points. Okay, how to maintain your weight even without counting your calories, for example, or how to maintain your weight loss even, even though, and still eating. Okay, for example, how to maintain your weight loss and still eat your favorite foods. Now, not just does it appeal to people who are losing weight, but people who want to maintain their weight loss. And not just people who want to maintain their weight loss, people who want to maintain it without having to struggle. They don't want to have to go to the gym every other day. They don't want to have to, start eating all sort of vegetables and all sort of food that they don't even find interesting. So you make it easy by saying, even by eating your favorite food, and of course you have to give really good value. That's just an instance. I'm not saying that's what you should go ahead and create, because when I talk about some digital products in my video, some people just think, okay, so you're telling us we should go and create a product on weight loss maintenance and blah blah blah. Come on. I just gave you the process, I gave you the method. So you need to go do the validation phase, go test it before you decide that this is the product that I should create, right? This is we haven't even finished validating this, so you can't say, okay, that's a product that I should create, right? Go and validate it, go and test it. So we've talked about the idea, the niche, the problem, validation, and the testing. Like I said, you don't need a perfect idea, you need a proven idea. Validate before you create, and you test before you invest. Don't give the excuse that I don't have social media audience. I mean, I didn't, and I have sold over like hundreds of my digital products and still selling, right? So that is not like an excuse, right? And um thank you for staying to the live up to this time. And we've talked about how to create, like we've talked about, all of the steps walking away before you create. So in tomorrow's live, we're going to be talking about how to actually create your digital product step by step. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, turn on your notification, and of course, I will drop the scheduled live in the community so that you click to get notified. Thank you for showing up today, and I'm really, really glad you're here. Now, if you have any questions, this is the best time to ask. Please drop it in the comment section. Ask me. Let's go. Thank you, Abigail. You are welcome. Yeah. So let's go. Ask me, do you have any questions with regards what I've shared about selling digital products or selling your digital products? You probably want to launch your digital products and maybe there's a question you have. Let's go. Hit me. And of course, if you don't have any question, you can just say no question. That's also fine. Any question? Any question? Any question? If you have any question, drop it in the comments. Okay, no question. All right, thank you for joining today's live. I'm super glad you're here, and I hope you gained some value from this. So, when next you are creating your digital product and you're not sure on what to do, you can come back to this live stream and see just how I explained it out. So, stay tuned and see you in tomorrow's live. Ciao.